Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Andy Shed Live. This one is for Sunday the 4th of May 2025. We've been off for a few weeks, but we are back now. Mad, bad and dangerous to know, once again as usual. So hello to everybody who we haven't seen for a few weeks. As you can see, plenty of folk already in the chat there. It's on the YouTube chat if you want to join in. All you have to do is log into YouTube and you can join the chat right there. Let's find out what people are saying. So far, who have we got? We've got Dominic's here. Evening, Dominic. Christopher 2000's here. Hi, Christopher. Fat Hobbit's here. Hello, Fat Hobbit. He says, hope you're all enjoying the good weather. I was until today. It's been absolutely freezing here today. Dominic says he went for a drive to Spurn Point last week. Saw some of the old Withensea track bed. Keith is with us as well. Hello, Keith. He says there's been a bit of a gap since the last live stream. Hope Andy's okay. Yes, I'm okay. Keith. Just been busy with the Easter holidays and all that, and we've been out at the vintage rallies and things, and I'm also trying to restore a boat at the moment as well. So that's taking quite a bit of time. Christopher says I only got one new phone recently, but not a landline phone. A new iPhone 30. Ugh, you got an iPhone. Ugh. Christopher, you let me down there. Let me down there. I thought somebody of your standing would have something better than an iPhone. Jean is here. Hi, Jean. Says hello all. Wesley's here as well. Crikey, everybody's on tonight. Dominic said, did you hear about Moorcroft Pottery closing, Keith? I remember you're from around there. Yeah, I heard about Moorcroft closing. Yeah, it's bad news, that is. Bad. But so many things are closing. So many things are closing down, thanks to our useless Labour government. Yeah. But we did have council elections this week, and they did get the kicking they deserved. Fat Hobbit says, I went to Withensea a couple of years ago and I remember the ice cream was particularly good there. Good ice cream, eh? Might be worth a visit. Keith says, yeah, people around here are very upset about the closure of the north of the Moorcroft Pottery. However, it's not the only problem with Stoke and the surrounding area. He says it's very sad. Sorry, I'm just reading what we've got. Dominic says, has anyone been to Sandtoft Trolleybus Museum? I have, not for a long time, but I have been. Yeah, it's alright, it's worth a visit. And Gambo's here. Hi, Gambo. He says, I made it this week and I love my iPhones. Oh dear. Christopher says he's put a bid on an NZPO 746. Oh, New Zealand Post Office 746 phone on eBay. That'll be an interesting one, because that'll have all the numbers backwards on the dial. If he gets that. So yeah. So all good. It looks like we're fairly all present and correct, I think, tonight. I wasn't expecting to see so many people with being the first one back and folks not knowing if we were going to be here or not. Now, what have I got to say? Still working out, yeah. I'm still working out if we're going to be on next week or not. I don't know. I know we will probably not be on the week after next, because I'm out and about at Heege Windmills Tractor Day the week after next. So if you are in the sort of Derbyshire vicinity, a fortnight today, Heege Tractor Day, Heege Windmill. It's free to get in. Go and support Heege Windmill. Christopher says, even though I've got an iPhone, I'm not doing my calls on it. I'm doing my calls using my red 746L from 1968, at least in the most part. That's more like it, yes. Keep it wired, keep it copper, although I don't think Christopher's is copper anymore. Keith says, I also love iPhones. Oh dear. Oh dear, I don't love anything Apple, with all its proprietary nonsense. Yeah, I've never owned an Apple device of any kind. I've never owned one of their computers, one of their phones, one of their music players. I've never owned anything made by Apple, ever. How about that? There can't be many people that can say they've never owned an Apple device, but I have never, ever owned an Apple device of any kind. Yeah. And we do all this. When we did Blackpool last year, that all came off an open source phone, basically a Unihertz Titan. That was a Kickstarter project. That's how we did the live from Blackpool last year. And the other thing I don't have anything Microsoft either, which amazes a lot of people. All of this, it's all done using open source software and operating systems. We use here the Linux Mint operating system on the computer, and the thing that sends it to you, the thing that does all the switching, that does all the fancy fades and transitions and things like that. The thing that does all that is a thing called Open Broadcaster Studio, or OBS, which a lot of streamers use and that, but we use the version that runs on Linux, and it's pretty good. So yeah. Neither Steve Jobs nor Bill Gates would be millionaires if it was left to me, because they wouldn't have had a penny out of me. So there you go. Right, okie dokie. Fat Hobbit says, please make some time to do another Escape the Shed, Andy. I really enjoy them. Yeah, they take so much doing though. That's the problem. They really do take an immense amount of work to do. The big problem with them is the editing. I hate editing. I absolutely hate it. That's why I like these live shows, because you can't edit a live. But yeah, I find editing the most laborious task in the world ever. Particularly modern editing, non-linear editing. I really don't like doing it. Really don't like doing it. Linear editing never used to bother me. You know, when we used to be editing on VT machines and stuff like that. That never bothered me, but modern non-linear editing on a computer just makes you want to throw the computer out the window. To give you some idea, when we go and do an Escape the Shed, the last one we did, Dominic was involved with, which was Threadborough Viaduct, and I think it took actually 3 hours to film it, and about 9 hours to edit it. So that tells you how resource intensive the editing is, and a lot of YouTubers don't edit the stuff themselves. you know, they have somebody to edit it for them, somebody behind the scenes. But yeah, the editing is a nightmare. The editing is what gets you. But we will do some more. I just don't have 5 minutes to myself ever. At the moment, that's the problem. I just don't have any time, and any time I could possibly have, I can find something to do. Any time that appears in my week immediately gets filled, because I am overburdened every week. There is stuff that needs doing this coming week that just won't get done because there just won't be time. And it's like that every week. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. I'm booked solid, absolutely solid for weeks on end. But we will do some. We will do some. The other problem with the Escape the Sheds is finding content to do. There are some things that I want to do. There's one particular one I want to do ahead of Halloween, because I want it to go out on Halloween. There's one I really want to do out in the Peak District, to be put out on Halloween, because it's a fantastically spooky and allegedly true story about something that happened out in the Peak District. I only found out about it all last year. I only found out the story of it all last year, because I just happened to go to a village near the place where it happened, and I was told the story. But it's a very little known story about something that happened in the Derbyshire Peak District. I'm not going to give it away, but if anybody finds themselves in Derbyshire and wants to be involved with some filming for a spooky Escape the Shed, let me know, because it would be foolish to film it now. Probably need to film it about September time, really, because although I don't actually want to film it in the dark, because I don't really want to go to the location in the dark for reasons that will be obvious when you see it, I don't want to film it in bright sunlight either. I'd quite like to film it on a sort of foggy, misty day or something like that. So yeah, if anybody wants to go and appear on an Escape the Shed in the Peak District, let me know. Right. Dominic says he's never owned anything Apple either. There you go, you see. It's not just me then, it's not just me. He says, I had a Unihertz Titan Slim until last year. Oh, you've got rid of it, have you, Dominic? I've still got mine. Mine's still going strong. But mine's not a Slim, mine's a fully blown Unihertz Titan. Right. Right, okay. Fat Hobbit says, get the dry ice out. Yeah, it don't work with dry ice. Dry ice, you can't do fog with dry ice because it drops to the floor. If you think of them 1970s TV programs where they had a band on and there was all like clouds around their feet but nothing higher than their ankles, that was dry ice that did that. Yeah, if you want to make fog with dry ice, you have to have somebody there with a board sort of wafting it to make it go up all the time. It's yeah, it doesn't naturally spread out, dry ice. When they want to do it where it spreads out, they use a thing called a fogger, and basically it's a thing that vaporizes oil normally. You know, put something like, I don't know, cooking oil or something in it, and it vaporizes it and makes a fog. Not sure what it's like when you're breathing that in though. Maybe that's why you don't see foggy programs these days, and foggy films. Yeah. Right. Anyhow, so shall we see if we can do something with the lights? Has that improved the lighting? And yeah, it has, hasn't it? Made it less one-sided. Right. We do have a little thing to look at today. This is an unusual one. Now, for those of you who are regular viewers, that here, you will know that every now and again I take a little trip to Wales. I've actually done it twice now, to see a chap called Andrew who collects telephones, and people have said, oh, he's got a marvellous collection of phones. And we did a live show from there a couple of months ago. Well, while I was there, I was given one or two things to bring back up here for the collection, and one of the things I was given was what I'm going to show you now. Right, are you ready? Ta-da! Right, so this is something we know absolutely nothing about, really. I think it was probably used on the railways, I think, but I don't know for certain. There's no GPO marks on it. Wooden stuff like this from the GPO normally has a number pressed into the wood on the back there. This has got nothing like that. It has got something written in pencil on the back of it, but I can't read it. RNNSR, I think, that's on the back, written in pencil. But yeah, so we've got this weird phone. As you can see, it's got a bell, it's got a thing you're speaking to, and this, laughingly, is your handset, or actually your receiver. So yeah, so you're talking to it like that and speaking to there, obviously. I think this is a railway version. There is something written on it at the top, but I can't make out what it says. Now if I can get it under this other camera, we might be able to work out what it says. Right, excuse the mess on the desk. Right, now, I get that over there a bit. Can you see that written in gold at the very top of the screen now is something? Can anybody tell me what that says? Is the first bit of it south? South man. South. Or is it British? British manufactured. Perhaps it's British manufactured. What it says at the top of there. What does everybody else think? I think it's British manufactured or something like that. So that doesn't really give us any clues, does it? As to what it is. So I'll put it down there, and I will now try and get my camera back working like that. Right, so not really had any clues there. So what we'll do, we'll open the door and see if we then get any further clues. Christopher says, if you think what you're filming on Escape the Shed is scary, What about picking up a GPO746 phone and a spider falls out of it onto your foot? It's what happened 2 days ago to me. Well, if it's a British spider, it'll not hurt you, Christopher, because we haven't got any venomous ones in the in the UK. Although, to be honest, I'm not a great fan of spiders. My friend April, who lives in America, tells me the most dangerous spider they have in America is only a little tiny one, and it doesn't actually bite you, this spider. What it does is it likes warm, dark places, and for some reason it finds itself in the heater matrix of cars, of motor vehicles, this little spider. And what happens is it then comes out of the heaters because it gets too hot in the heaters, and it goes up the windscreen and it sits in the sun visor of your car, so you can see where this is going, can't you? It sits up in the sun visor of your car. This is the most dangerous spider in America. It's caused more deaths in America than any other spider, and it doesn't bite you to cause you death. What it does is, when you're driving your car down the road and you put the sun visor down, it falls out and you go, ah, a spider, take your hands off the wheel and crash into a lamppost, and that's what kills you. But I forget what she said this spider was called. They do have a venomous one that's dangerous, called the brown recluse, which again is not big. Actually, you think it's going to be a big tarantula type thing that's going to be, but again, that's not massive, but it is dangerous, the brown recluse. But yeah, I don't really do spiders. Right, we've got it open now, and there's a label inside, as you can see here, and it says on this label GE Co Limited. So I'm assuming that's going to be General Electric, and it's got a number here that I don't think is coming out on the camera because of the light, but it says K7820 wall set, and then the whole drawing I think is KS6340. So let's try typing some of those things into the internet and see if anything comes up, shall we? Just bear with me one moment and we'll see if we can find anything. So I think it's a K7820. Oh, yeah, GEC, battery call telephone, according to Bob's telephone files, and it looks very much like that. Right, I will show you what Bob Freshwater on his website has got. I hope Bob doesn't mind us showing his website. I'm fairly sure we won't. Right, let me see if we can get a view of that. There it is. Okay. Right. Right, so here it is. This is it. So then, it's a battery call supervisor quality with induction coil, the Hunningscone Decet wall telephone. This well-known instrument ranks as the pioneer of battery ringing telephones. It still maintains its position as the most satisfactory battery call telephone set at a moderate price. It consists of Hunningscone Decet granular transmitter, induction coil, double pole watch receiver, call bell, ringing key and automatic switch hook. Woodwork of solid, well-seasoned polished walnut and all exterior metal parts are nickel plated. Can be used on lines up to half a mile in length. Price in 1908 was £1 7 shillings and sixpence. And there's photos, as you can see there, and I think we're the 1932 model on there, because it's not got all the terminals on the outside at the top, it's got them lower down, so I think we're the 1932 model, not the 1926 model. It's similar to K17E04, but fitted with Hunningscone Decet transmitter. Later version had a carbon granule transmitter, and the terminals were internal, which they are on this. Right, so the question is, what do we do with it? Cabinet work of well-seasoned walnut, external metal parts, oxidized copper, bronze. The telephone instruments described here, along with various others, can be used together for the following requirements: connected up in pairs to ring and speak both ways over approximately half a mile, a double line or single line with earth return. To connect up 3 stations by the use of a K8500 switch and a K8313 bell. Oh, you can't see it, can you? Sorry. There you go, you can see it now. Yeah, K8313 bell to enable A station to ring and speak both ways to B and C stations only. The latter cannot communicate with each other. So B and C can't talk to each other. Or you can have it to connect up to 3 stations by use of a K8510 switch and a K8313 bell, to enable A station to ring and speak both ways to B and C, and the latter stations to speak together by A station placing the K8510 switch in the through position. Where a number of telephones are required in a building, these telephones can be installed to work in conjunction with battery call switchboards K8335, 8350 and 8360 with an operator in attendance, found in the 1916, 1926, 1932 and 1935 catalogues. So we're well pre-war then, aren't we? And it's like the one in the photo there. that I've got with the terminals inside it. It is just like that. Wiring two telephones together. Each telephone requires three 1.5 volt batteries. The phones are normally connected together by two wires, but if the ZE terminal is connected to a good earth, then only the L terminals are connected together with one wire. It is recommended to use two wires and dispense with the earth connection. At each telephone, connect the batteries as follows. Connect three batteries in series. At each telephone, so each telephone has to have a battery in it. Connect the three batteries in series. Connect the free negative terminal of the battery set to terminal ZE on the phone. Connect the free positive terminal of the battery set to terminal C on the phone. Okay. Connect the positive terminal of the center battery to terminal MC on the phone. Center battery? What center battery? Oh, I'm with it, yeah. Because you've wired them in series, haven't you? So you've got three batteries in a line, end to end. You put in, and from the free negative terminal at the bottom end of the battery, you put in ZE. You put in it terminal ZE. From the free positive terminal at the other end of the battery pack, you put in C, and from two batteries up the stack, i.e. the positive end of the middle battery, you go into MC on the phone. So that's going to pull less power, isn't it? Because that's going to be like 3 volts instead of 4.5 volts. In the diagram below, the following abbreviations are C, carbon, positive terminal of battery, Z, zinc, casing and negative of battery, MC microphone, L line, ZE, zinc earth. Right, I see. Installation diagrams. Yeah, I see how it works. I do see how it works. Right, so to get this working I need another one. You know something, I may have got another one somewhere, or something at least very similar. So I'll have to have a look. But that apparently is how you do it. Right, so well, I think we've figured it out there then. So that is how you do it, how you wire it all up. There's not a massive amount inside it actually. There's these 4 terminals marked ZE, C, MC and L, so that one's your line. and inside you've got 2 coils there which operate your bell. You've got a normal hook switch there that you can see me operating, and then this thing in here that you can't see at that angle. Can I get it where you can see it? This thing here, this is an induction coil, which not all telephones have. And then there's a button on the side here as well. There's a little button here you can press that throws a contact here, and I'm reckoning throws contact there. Can you see that moving? Can I do that? Try get it there and press the button. You can see that contact moving now, can't you? That's to ring the other phone, the phone that you're wanting to talk to. So it's interesting, and if we can find another one, we could couple 2 together and use them potentially. But I wonder where this one came from. Right, we'll shut it back up for now then. It's not in bad condition for its age. It could do with a re-varnish. Now, what was this originally varnished with? Good question. I have a feeling it was probably done with shellac, looking at how bits of it have come off. So I have a feeling it's probably shellacked. There is a way to test that, and you can use methylated spirits and just rub on it, and if any of it comes off brown, then you know it is shellac. I think that may also work with acetone, but I'm not 100% certain if it works with acetone. Just wondering, got anything we can rub on it at the moment? Is anything in easy reach that we can use? Right, bear with me a sec. I'll move a few things down here. And we'll see what we can potentially find. That's not in there. Not in there. And they're not in there. About the bottom one. Can't see what I want in there either. Drat and double drat. I thought I got a cotton bud here somewhere. Oh, I found a bit of rag, that'll do. So, one of Thor's balls here as well. Thor the dog, I've left one of his squeaky balls in here. So, what you can do is get a bit of acetone. Let's see what this does. And rub it. I'll show you what I'm doing rather than looking at me. Just rub it on there, like that. Does it go sticky? If it's shellac, it'll go a bit sticky. It's certainly fetching something off, and I don't think that's just, can you see that? I don't think it's just dirt. I think it is some of the actual coating of the thing. And we kind of want to fetch it off really, or at the very least we want to melt it. See, this is what meth does, and I think acetone does a similar thing. If it's shellac, it melts it and then redistributes it on the surface. It's like these magic polishers that you get when you like scratched your furniture or something. You put these magic polishers on and the scratch disappears, because what they're actually doing is melting whatever your furniture is varnished with and just redistributing it on the surface and putting some of it back into the scratch. That's what they're doing, and that's kind of what we want to do. Because it's a bit dodgy here. Can you see here? There's some some of the original finish missing there. What I don't want to do really, I don't want to take that gold off there, so I'm going a bit easy on that bit. But is it going sticky? No, it's not. So perhaps acetone doesn't melt the shellac. Perhaps it does just clean it. Because if it melted it would be going sticky. Oh, that is going a bit sticky there. So yeah, it is melting it. Right. Okay. So carry on with the same area, and you should be able to redistribute what bit of the original shellac is left and make it look considerably better. And this is without putting any new shellac on. Now, I'm not going to go over that gold bit where that gold printing is. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do up to it, but I'm not going to go over it. Can you see it kind of evening out a bit? Definitely doing something. And then what we'll do is we'll put a fresh layer of shellac on, just paint on a fresh layer of shellac. I've got it all clean. Yeah, it's definitely going a bit sticky, it's doing something. So, yeah. Something is occurring with it. So while I do some of the rest of this, we'll have a little look what folks are saying in the chat. Dominic says, it's interesting, you seem to see a lot of those phones as ex-signal box phones. Yeah, I think this one probably is. Actually, I think that's exactly what it is, Dominic. Christopher says, going back to spiders, the redback spider is the most venomous in Australia. I shall bear that in mind if I visit Australia, although to be quite honest I won't be picking any of them up, redbacked or not. What are people saying? Gambo says, I had a house spider in the car, a big one, and was driving back from Edinburgh. It was raining and foggy, and I had a spider drop down on my arm. It was dark, and I nearly came off the road. Well, there you go, you see. That's exactly how it happens in America, Gambo. He says, I'm not scared of spiders, just not them landing on you when you're the only person in the car. Yeah, I don't do spiders. I don't do anything that's got more eyes than I have. Gambo says, I nearly gave it the car keys when I stopped the car and got out and did a rain dance in the middle of the road. Which isn't the best road during the day and dry weather. So this spider dropping out of the sun visor thing seems to be quite common. Spiders across the world seem to use this trick then. They all seem to do it. They must have had their heads together. Right. Right, we're getting there. We are getting there with it. It is cleaning up reasonably well. I'm going to re-shellac it at some point. Christopher says, I've only seen one of these red-black spiders. Only ever seen one. So that's good. They must be not that common then. Which is good, because they're venomous and we don't want them to be common. Yeah, not keen on spiders at all. Really not. think ever since that film, Starship Troopers. Has anybody ever seen Starship Troopers? With the aliens that are really alien and they're kind of like big spiders. Yeah. It's interesting, that film never seems to come on TV, and I never know why. It's one of those films I can remember seeing in the cinema, but it never seems to have made it to TV, unless I just missed it. And I wonder why. And certain films are on like every week, and other films are never ever on. It seems a bit unfair somehow. Right. Well, it's getting better. It's not getting perfect, but it's getting better. You do get a bit of an idea of how it's supposed to be from this. Bear with me while I finish it off. Christopher says the spiders thing is why Australian telephones don't have big holes in the base. Yeah, well, that's exactly why when Ericsson made their version of the 706, their knockoff version of the 706, you know, the clone phones, that's why they said you could have them tropicalised. And what tropicalising basically meant, or one of the things it meant, was sticking a very fine mesh over all the holes in the casing so no creepy crawlies could get inside it. Because the last thing you want is something like a spider or a scorpion living in your telephone, is it? Yeah, that's really not what you want at all. Well, I think I've improved it a little bit. I've not made it massively great, but I've improved it a little bit. I'll put the top on the acetone before I spill it. Then we'll have a little look at what I've managed to achieve. Right, question is, does it look any better than it did previously? I think the finish on it might be a bit more even. It looks not showing up really well on the camera, but I think it's a bit more even than it was. So yeah, more work to do on that one, but you get the basic idea, I think, of what it should be like, don't you? Right, okay. Gabbo says, do you know why spiders do that dropping out of the sun visor thing all over the world? They tell each other how to do it on the web. Oh, right, yeah, you can go now, Gambo, thanks. Oh dear, and you've got some deliveries to do, Gambo. I don't know. It's been all night working that, you know. I can tell it's been all night working that one out. Right, let me stand up a minute. Oh, let me stand up a minute. I just sort of twisted my leg around backwards and it hurt. I'm in such a small space here, you would not believe. This makes the broom cupboard from Children's BBC look massive, this room. Yeah. Can you remember that when Philip Schofield used to be in the broom cupboard? What he called the broom cupboard. It was actually Press 1 at Television Centre. But he called it the broom cupboard. And he said, I'm in this tiny little room, I'm in this broom cupboard at Television Centre. And I went on a tour and I went in the broom cupboard, and the broom cupboard is massive compared to this where we broadcast this from. It's like at least 3 or 4 times the size of this. So yeah, the broom cupboard is not such a broom cupboard. Depends what you're comparing it to, Phil. Right, so we've done that phone, I think. It's a very interesting thing, this, that the handset is. Feels plasticky, it's gone brown. I wonder if it's that ebonite stuff like that you get on candlestick phones, and it started out as like a black rubbery coating, but over the years it turns brown, and that may be what's on here. Oh, it unscrews. I wasn't expecting that to unscrew, but apparently it does. Alloy. So there. And then of course there's your, as far as I'm aware, there's this which you're supposed to slide off this, slide these off. And then there's your, how am I doing it on here? Hang on. There's your, your gear under there. See? When you want to put it back, you're supposed to slide it on like that. And then this bit, you see, it's black on the inside, you see. Look. Black on the inside. So I think it's just gone like that. I think this is that ebonite stuff. Kind of an early attempt at plastics. Do you know what that little cutout thing there is for? Can you see that little cutout? You get that on the earpiece of candlestick phones as well. Do you know what it's for? I'll tell you. You know when if you leave a phone off the hook on the desk, after a while it starts wailing, so wow, 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 wow. And just to tell you, basically, to hang up the handset. Well, that little cutout there is so if you happen to have put your handset on there face down, you might not get much sound out of it if it was flat on the desk. So that little cutout is supposed to let a bit of air go in and out underneath it, so you can hear it when it's wailing. And that's what that little divot is for. Okay. Right. Very good. I think we'll do more. I think I've got at least another one, possibly another 2 sort of railway phones somewhere. So I'm hoping I might be able to make a pair and actually get this working. That would be very cool, wouldn't it? I've not got another one like this though, exactly like this. I could do with one like this, couldn't I? So I can wire them the way it says in the instructions. So I'll have to keep an eye out for another one of these General Electric battery phones. So I shall keep looking for another one of those. See if one turns up anywhere in the near future. Right, put it on there for the time being. Right, okay, how are we doing? Um, Christopher says it would be good if the GPO did the same as Ericsson with the holes. As why a spider got in my 746 because of the holes. Before you asked Andy what spiders it was, a white-tailed spider. Oh, don't know what them ones are. That must be some sort of Australian spider. Gambo says bought a 700 series handset, but it's bright blue for a payphone. No cord or payphone attached, and just bought 700 series spares just there on Fleabay. The payphone handset is the same colour as the compact blue telephone. That's interesting, Gambo. That's very interesting. What are you bought a handset for, Gambo? What are you trying to match it to? What phone are we after a handset for? What colour? Because I may have one in stock. I've got a lot of handsets, but only certain colours. Bright blue for a payphone. 700 series handset that's bright blue. So you sure it's 700 series handset? I thought the blue payphone handsets were on later payphones that weren't 700 series related. I can't imagine a 700 series payphone having a blue handset on it. I think they were grey generally, so why have you got a blue one? And if it's off a more modern payphone, surely the handset is changed on the more modern payphones, hasn't it? I don't know. Christopher says I've got to get my GEC 711 wall phone working again. What's up with it, Christopher? Has it conked out? Gambo says the handset came up on Fleabay and bought it in impulse. Oh, so you weren't actually looking for a handset to fit to something then? It's just that a weird colour handset turned up. Yeah, right. Now, it may be that it's one of the recently made ones, courtesy of Britphone, or it may be one that was made some years ago by a chap in Cambridgeshire who used to live near to March in Cambridgeshire, and he used to have phone parts producing all kinds of weird colours and then assemble old phone chassis with new cases but in really oddball colours, like he did orange ones and stuff like that. But he stopped doing it a long time ago, sold off all his spare parts, and they had a bit of a garage sale and there were people going down like buying big boxes full of cases, but these cases were all in weird colours, like bright blue and purple and silver and stuff like that. So what you may have got there, Gambo, is a handset from there. Gambo says the modern-ish payphones is mid-80s that were common in our red telephone boxes. Yeah, but they didn't have 700 series handsets on, did they? They had like a more square handset, didn't they, those? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure now, I'm thinking about that. But I wonder if it is one of those repro handsets that you've got there. If it's a rather bright blue colour, because they did do very bright blue phones. I do remember that. Yeah, interesting. Gambo says no, it's from a payphone. I remember them. So the payphones had blue handsets in the 700 style. Right, well I don't remember them. So that's news to me. That is definitely news to me. Interesting. Send us a photo of that, Gambo. Be interested to see that. Right. Anyhow, yeah. So yeah, what else has been happening while we've been away? Not a massive amount actually. There's still a big stack of telephones down here, various stages of disrepair, and that. But there's not been any major arrivals. There've been one or two little arrivals. Arthur's been on. Arthur. Hello Arthur, if you're watching. At least I assume it was Arthur. It came in a package with Arthur's handwriting on it. I'm recognising Arthur's handwriting now. But another one of these has come. Thoughtfully, already split so I don't have to do it. So I'm kind of hoping that we can get some of these back together and working. Now, you may remember there was another one of these that came that was missing a little membrane out of the keypad, so it wouldn't work. Well, I've now got a spare membrane for one, so hopefully we can get these back together and get them sorted, the old Viscounts there. What else have we got? Yeah, I think that's all that's appeared since you were last here. Oh no. Yeah, this has come as well. Hang on, let me get it. This is interesting. Here we have a compact telephone. Yeah. What's interesting about this compact telephone, given they were designed for the GPO or BT, whatever you want to call it, and that is it's got a prohibited sticker on the base of it. Even though it is a 776 made by EET 811, it says prohibited from direct or indirect connection to telecommunication systems run by British Telecommunications. Action may be taken against anyone so connecting this apparatus. I'm scared. So why would a BT telephone, or a telecom telephone as they were then, why would a telecom telephone be prohibited from being connected to the telecom network? The only thing I can think of is these phones do not have bells in them, and this one has come without a bell set. it's arrived without a bell set. Now, given that the curly cord is here, right, and there's a cut-off cable here, I wonder if this telephone never had a bell set with it. Because these are a bit weird, because there is an induction coil inside the phone, but there's no ringer inside these phones because they're so small and basically you couldn't fit them in. So I wonder if it's prohibited because it can't ring. And phones that are standalone and can't ring did tend to get prohibited because somebody made a call, you couldn't actually receive the call. So I'm wondering if that is the reason for it. So this is one that we'll be having a look at some point. But you see, the handsets on these, because there was a bright blue version of these are not normal 700 series handsets. These are different handsets. Can you see how it splits? You know, it's not got the normal screw-on cap, or caps at each end. It kind of splits in two along that join. I think the Mickey Mouse phones had these handsets on as well, I think. Yeah, that's one to have a little look at some point and see what happened there. So that's a 776. Not the same as a Jubilee phone. They're different inside. The wiring is different inside. The Jubilees, what became the Jubilees, they were actually a recalled field trial phone from the early 70s, and the 776s are all post 1977, not pre 1977. As far as I know, all those field trial phones from pre 1977, I don't even know what colour they were, because they all got wiped up and reissued as Jubilees with that very dark blue, almost black case on it. I've never seen one of those field trial phones that's not been turned into a Jubilee. I've never ever seen one. If you've got one, it's the rarest thing ever. Christopher says, one of the Australia Telstra payphones in Brunswick, Australia is getting heritage listed. Excellent! That's really good. Is that near you, Christopher? I don't know my Australian geography very well. Is that near you? Do you have a picture of it or anything like that? Yeah. Gambo says, the Mickey Mouse handsets were slightly smaller than compact telephone handsets. Yeah, are you thinking about the right Mickey Mouse there though, Gambo? Because there have been various iterations of the Mickey Mouse phone. There's at least 3 or 4 different ones. But I'm thinking the first one that came out in about 1977. Because there have been different Mickey Mouses. Gambo says, my Jubilee is missing the centre crown, but looking for the Scottish version. Right, I've got various Jubilees, you know, and I don't know what crowns they've got on them. That's an interesting question, that, Gambo. I've never looked at them close enough to work out which crown they've got on them. Tell you what I have wondered about doing for these Jubilees. I have wondered about if I could 3D print the crowns for a Jubilee phone using clear filament. I have wondered about that. Don't know if a 3D printer would be up to doing it in clear though. I have to experiment on that. But yeah, getting the crown without the phone is really hard to do, actually. if you do see one of those centres listed on eBay on its own, it's normally listed for a crazy amount of money. It's normally listed for about £30 or £40, and given that you can often buy a Jubilee phone, a complete phone, for less than 20 quid, it's quite funny that the Crown on its own is listed for about 40. Gambo says the one I had and just sold was from 1977. That was a Mickey, was it? A Mickey Mouse? Right, so it's not those handsets then on the Mickey Mouse. Oh, I wonder what it is then. So I bet it's a standard handset off something, but I wonder what it is. I wonder if it depended who made the Mickey Mouse, because I think there were different companies making them. So I wonder if the handset depended who made the Mickey Mouse. I don't know. I've never really done a massive amount of research on what they call the special range telephones. You know, like the Mickey Mouse and the Snoopy and all those ones. I've never really done anything with those. Perhaps we ought to. Perhaps we ought to start looking at those. And the only one really out of the special range that we've had anything to do with, well, two really, was the Dial Ambassador, the Dial version of the Ambassador, that I've got a yellow one of those, that somewhere, and also Contemporaries. I've got umpteen Contemporaries, yeah. Some of which I don't think are British. I think some of them may be American. Hang on a sec. Right. Bills is here. Hello, Bills. He says, hello, Andy. Glad I've caught you live. So sorry I'm late. Don't worry about it, Bills. You're okay. We weren't even sure we were going to be on today. But I got back in time to do it, and Christopher messaged me this afternoon and said, are you going to be on tonight, Andy? And I thought, actually, yeah, I could be. I could, I've got time to do it, so here we are. But, not sure if we're going to be here next week or not. Almost certainly won't be here in 2 weeks' time. So 2 weeks' time, almost certainly won't be here, because I'm at Heed Windmill that day. So yeah, but yeah, we ought to do something with the special range telephones, with the Contemporaries and the Ambassadors and all the other oddities and that. Ericafons. I've got some Erica. Yeah, they're in the special range, aren't they? I've got some Ericafons, but I don't think my Ericafons are British because they're funny colours. So I think I've got European or maybe American ones. I got a box full, years and years ago. I got a box full of Ericafons with about 6 or 8 Ericafons in, and a couple of spare shells for them. And I didn't pay a lot for it. I only paid about 20 quid for a box with about 6 Ericafons in. And you can't buy one for 20 quid now, let alone 6. Yeah. They are the most stupid design of telephone, though. They are. Really, really are stupid Ericafons. Yeah. More calls have been accidentally cut off with an Ericafon, I'm sure, than by anything else in the world. Christopher says, just found 2 more Telstra payphones are getting heritage listed. You have to go out and take some photos of these, Christopher, and see what they're like. Bill says, I'm looking forward to watching the fly past on the TV and using my flight radar app. That's a good idea, Bill. See where they're coming from, where they're going to. Bill says, enjoy the windmill, Andy. Watch the stairs. Yeah, the stairs are dodgy in that windmill. Yeah, I've been caught out like that before. I've been to Heed Windmill, Bills. Sounds like you know it. It's the sails you have to watch. when you go in and out. You know, like Windy Miller on, was it Trumpton, Shigley or Camberwick Green? I was watching those last night. I stayed up until the small hours watching like Trumpton last night. The perils of YouTube. But yeah, can you remember Windy Miller? And he used to go in and out between the sails, didn't he? And years and years and years I waited as a kid. I waited to think one of these days one of them is going to get him and wipe him out, and he's going to be going round on it. And he never did he? He never did it. He always managed to dart in and out between them. Yeah, amazing that Windy Miller could do that. But when you go to a real windmill, you realise there's a door on both sides. So when the sails are, because the sails turn round on most windmills, and when the sails are like at the side where the door is, you use the other door on the other side. You don't go between the sails. Chris says, Andy, did you get the letter with old 1950s tram tickets from Melbourne that I sent you? No, I don't think I've got that, Christopher. No, fairly sure that's not got here. It may be that it's taking it a long time to get here, because obviously it's post from Australia, isn't it? So it may be that it's just not arrived yet. But no, if I got a letter with tram tickets in it, I'm fairly sure I would have remembered. But no, I don't think that's got here yet. So, but don't panic yet, because the post is very slow here sometimes. Bill says, with the motherboards, does the connection travel on metal, or does it jump from component to component? What? Bill says, Christopher will have to swap addresses. I can send you some British train tickets. Gambo says, sorry, sent pics via email. Huh? Am I missing something on this chat? Bills, what are you talking about circuit boards? I'm looking for somewhere where you said something about circuit boards, because it says, with the motherboards, does the connection travel on metal, or does it just jump from component to component? Gambo says, still need to get the bottom black bit that's broke away on mine. Oh, Gambo, are you talking about an Ericaphone with the bottom black bit broke away? Yeah, I think you'll find that's a rubber gasket, Gambo. I think you'll find that bit around the bottom of an Ericaphone, that black ring around the bottom, is a rubber gasket that goes hard. They are gettable. There is a website online, and I just can't remember the address of it off the top of my head, that specialises in the history of Ericaphones and that, and he sells the gaskets to go on the bottom of Ericaphones. They are not cheap though, really not cheap. But if you massively need one, you can get one from that guy if you can find him, if you can look him up and find him. Bill says, for the telephone, for push button, do you have to lay a track down for the power to follow with a soldering iron? No. that for most push button telephone bills, for the 700 series push button telephones, there's like a little switch behind each button, so it kind of travels from component to component, and when you press the button you actually throw in a momentary switch. For more modern phones, like a Vanguard for instance, then there are 2 tracks on the circuit board that the switch joins, that the push button joins together, and these 2 tracks run very close together, and then you have like a rubber shaped rubber thing across the top of these 2 of the circuit board, between the circuit board and the actual button that you press, and then this rubber thing is painted with a conductive paint, so that when you press it down, when you press the button, the rubber goes in and it touches across the 2 tracks on the circuit board and makes the join on the circuit board. That's how it works, and they become the rubber things. It's also how your TV handset remote control works, you know, your Sky remote and things like that. It's how they work as well. And if you've got a button that doesn't work on your remote control, then you can buy on the internet this conductive paint. You take your remote control apart, find this little rubber bit that presses on the contacts, and this little rubber thing, you paint it with this conductive paint, and it makes your remote control magically work again, or indeed your telephone if you're doing it on a telephone. Yes, Christopher and Bills, yes, yes. Send me a message, Andy@coldpress.net. I can't actually put it on the screen because the spammers will find it, but Andy@coldpress, CALLPRESS.net. And if you both send me a message, I will pass your emails to each other. Right, okay, I think I've caught up. Sorry, I was just double checking all the chat there. It comes up written very small on my screen, and my eyesight's not what it used to be, so it's yeah, getting old, you know, getting old. Christopher says, I will send it now, Andy. I will send you the link to the news clippings in the email of the payphone, Andy. Okay, Christopher, send it over. It'll probably not come through while I'm still doing this live stream because of the bandwidth restrictions, but as soon as I go off air it'll ping through, so we might have to come back to that next time. Just remind me next time to come back to that about Christopher's listed payphones. It's brilliant that they're getting listed. I wonder if they'll have fires and things like listed structures in Britain do. Right, that I believe is probably about as far as we go for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to everybody for taking part once again, and a quick reminder, if anybody knows anything about these, get in touch. These battery powered phones, because I would like to get another one and get them working. And thinking about it, the other ones that I've got I don't think are strictly battery phones. the others that I've got. I don't think they are. I'll have to go and double check. But this certainly is a battery phone made by GEC. Did I say GEC? Yeah, GEC, General Electric. So if you've got one of these around anywhere, then yeah, I'll come back to it and we'll show you how to wire it. But before I can actually wire it and test it, I probably need to get another one. So we'll be giving that a go. Or maybe I could make a modern version of it, perhaps. There's a thought. Another thing to do, another thing to add to my endless list of things to do. There's not enough stuff on it already. Right. Bill says, I have one of those, K3333, I think. No, this one's not a K3333, Bills. This one is certainly right ballpark. Right, I took a photo of the label, so I'll just have a little look for the photo of the label. This one is a K7820. This particular one, K7820. But you can only connect them together over half a mile anyway, Bill, so I don't think we can connect yours to mine and have a conversation down it. They only work up to half a mile apart, it says in the instructions for them, according to Bob Freshwater's website. Bill says, my transmitter looks slightly different. Yeah, there's two versions of it. I think you might have got the old one, Bill. Has yours got the connections for the line cord and that on the outside? Because if it has, you've got the earlier one. In the 1920s, the connections for the line cord and stuff were on the outside of the box, and in the 1930s they were on the inside of the box, apparently. Gambo says, yeah, like wiring the plan set phones to each other. Yeah, plan sets are complicated. Bill says, yes, Bob is part of the THG. I've met him, great guy. Mine is 1916. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've met Bob Freshwater. Everybody in the telephone world knows Bob Freshwater, but I don't think I've ever met him. Yeah. The problem is his website. Sometimes the information on it is wrong, and I've done technical things following instructions on his website, and because there's been a little error somewhere on his website, it's made the thing not work that I've been trying to do. So you have to be a bit careful with his website. I think he gets a lot of the information from what people send him, and if people have not remembered it quite right and stuff, and then Bob just copies it down in good faith. So sometimes there are issues with the instructions on the website. Right. That is about it for today. As I say, thanks to everybody for taking part once again. As I said, I'm not sure if we're going to be here next week or not. We are certainly not here in 2 weeks' time. So the next one I can definitely say we will be here is 3 weeks today, I believe. I think. Bill says, I do agree, but every engineer says it's slightly different. I get told off for calling it different things. Yeah, people have their own terminology for stuff. It's a real nightmare, terminology for phones and that. the classic one is finger wheels and finger plates. What I call a finger plate, some people call a finger wheel. And if that's the finger wheel, what I call the finger plate, what's the thing you stick your finger through? Because if the thing behind it is the finger wheel, what's the thing you actually stick your finger through? And then nobody can tell me. So yeah, the terminology is very difficult, and that. So yeah, that's where YouTube comes in, because at least you can see what people are doing. They're not just telling you, it's not just written down. At least on YouTube you can actually look at it and see what's going on as well. Christopher said, Andy, I sent you some 1950s tram tickets. Melbourne, my friend, gave me a whole bunch. Right, thanks for that, Christopher. They've not arrived yet, but like I say, don't be too surprised because the post is slow. Yeah, right. Yeah, Melbourne tram tickets. We'll do an episode on ticket machines at some point, because I've got a load of bus and tram ticket machines here. It says he also sent you a funny story about new tram tickets caused in Melbourne. Let me guess. Let me guess, because this has happened here. They have a weekly ticket that you buy on the first tram that you get on the week, and it's only a paper ticket. So people going to work in offices laminate their tram ticket so it stays nice and crisp and firm for the entire week, but because the tickets are written on thermal paper, the act of putting them through the laminator makes all the printing disappear and makes a ticket invalid. Is that the thing? Because that's happened here. It's like, I don't know what here tonight. Right. Anyhow, Bill says, I've got a set right ticket machine and the old Wayfarer. Crikey. Is it a Wayfarer 2, Bills? Or is it a Wayfarer 1? Or if you're very lucky, it's a Wayfarer Saver that you don't have to have a module for. If it's a Wayfarer Saver, you can wire it up to a 12 volt. Can you wire it up to a 12 volt battery? Or does it have to be a 24 volt battery being on the bus? But if it's a Saver, you can wire it up and you don't need the module to make it work, and you don't need the depot reader if it's a Saver. Savers were normally blue. They normally had a blue case on them, but not always. Chris says, no, Andy, the new tram tickets caused a big tram strike with conductors. Oh, what did they do? I'll look it up, I'll Google it. Bills, what set right is it? Is it a set right speed or an insert set right? Insert set right is a good fun. Yeah, you don't see many of them around. Getting the tickets for an insert set right is a nightmare as well, because you have to have pre-printed tickets for those. But yeah, we'll do one on ticket machines, because I've got quite a few, including some that were used at the seaside for deck chair attendants. Right, okie dokie. That it really is it for today. Better get going before my computer turns back into a pumpkin. But as I say, not sure if we're here next week or not. In 2 weeks' time, definitely not here because of Heat Windmill. So the next time I know we are definitely going to be here is 3 weeks today. 3 weeks a day, and we should be here. But as always, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you think you are subscribed, check you're subscribed, because YouTube does sneakily unsubscribe people without their knowledge. And also click that bell thing that every other YouTuber in the world is obsessed with telling you about. and then you should get notifications when I post a new video or indeed a live stream. I get so fed up when YouTubers do all this. Please like, please subscribe. Oh dear me, it does my head in that, so I try not to do it. But yeah, if you do want to know where we're on, you do need to click that little bell icon thing. Bill says, I'm looking at it now, I will get back to you. If it has a roll of paper in it, Bills, it's a set right speed. If it doesn't have a roll of paper in it, it's an insert set right. Some set right speeds could also do insert as well. Some were dual purpose. But if it's got a thing on the bottom that takes the roll of paper for the ticket, it's not actually a full insert set right machine. You'll see the story, says Christopher. It says, I'll see the story about the tram strike in the letter with the tickets. Right, okay. I'll await it with interest. Right, okay. It is time for me to move along, and we will see you all again very soon. If you're in the Derbyshire area next week, next Sunday, and you're at a loose end, get yourselves over to Heath Windmill from about 11 o'clock till around about 4ish, something like that. And I will be there with a stationary engine, most likely. Bill's set right. It says it takes a reel of tickets at the bottom, so it's not an insert set right. No, it's a set right speed. Then that is Bill's. Well, used by the National Bus Company in the 1970s, basically. That's what they are. Good machines though. You have to be very careful when you take them apart, because if you take the wrong end plate off a set right machine, it all springs apart in a big boingy explosion. You have to be very careful which bit of the machine you take apart. It's a bit like defusing a bomb. Yeah, I'll tell you more about ticket machines next time. Right, I'm off. As always, have a fantastic week ahead, and we will see you next time for another Andy Shed Live. Bill says, I found that set right machines explode, Andy, but I did manage to put it back together. You did well. You did well, because most times when they spring apart, they're very hard to put back together. So yeah, well done. Yeah, but you know not to take the screw off that side next time, don't you? Right, from me, for now, have a fantastic week ahead. We'll see you soon. Bye for now, everybody.